There's even some studies that you could find that are small studies that chewing gum increases caloric expenditure quite a bit. The literal easiest way to lose fat without even exercising. It sounds like something that would be on a V-Shred commercial or something. Okay, a little bit of an inside joke there because people think I'm V-Shred all the time because I don't know, who knows. But either way, it does sound like something that would typically be on a commercial like that, but it is reality in this case. There is some strong literature. I'm going to talk about actually a quite old study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that's really interesting and eye-opening. And it helps us kind of understand this whole concept of non-exercise activity thermogenesis, like how we actually utilize more fuel throughout the day than we may even realize. So we'll get right into it. I also put a link down below for a company that makes a C15 for people that don't eat a lot of cheese or people that want to get those C15 levels up. A lot of their research was funded by the United States Navy. They have some really interesting stuff. It's a company called Fatty 15. I've talked to Dr. Ven Watson multiple times, and I've even interviewed her on this channel. She is who really is one of the people that kind of started discovering this deficiency in dolphins. But this is something that's been talked about across the literature for a long time, but only recently has become sort of household information. I put a link down below for you to try Fatty 15 if it's something that's of interest to you. I think it's a very important compound. It is a form of saturated fat. So it's not like we're talking anything really weird here. It's a saturated fat that we would get from good quality cheeses, but the amount of cheese you'd have to eat to get our levels back up, and again, this is a real deficiency, would be a lot of cheese. So that link is down below. It's a 15% off discount link, top line of the description underneath this video. I highly encourage you to at least go there and read some of the literature. It's fascinating. Okay, so what this study was looking at is it looked at people that were laying down at total rest compared to people that were sitting down at rest, compared to people that were standing up, not doing anything, motionless, compared to people that were walking, and then it compared people that were sitting down fidgeting or standing up fidgeting, or get this, walking while fidgeting. It is insane what they found. The difference between someone laying down and simply sitting was only a 4% difference in overall energy expenditure. So laying down versus sitting motionless, the calories aren't that different. But the moment that people started fidgeting while sitting down, 54% increase in energy expenditure. 54%. Okay, get this. With standing, it was 93 to 94% more if fidgeting while standing. That's so nutso. With walking, it was between 150% and 290% increase in energy expenditure just by fidgeting while walking. There's even some studies that you could find that are small studies that chewing gum increases caloric expenditure quite a bit. Of course, you could find all kinds of flaws in that. You're ingesting artificial sweeteners, this, that, whatever rabbit hole you want to go down. Point is, it's still non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And for so long, we thought, oh, well, if we're just sitting down and we're moving our hands a little bit, that's a small percentage of our body. No, it actually triggers a lot of metabolic drive. And that's one of the biggest things that happens when you restrict calories. Is as you restrict calories, one of the first things to go is your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It is your fidgeting. It is those micro movements. And I hope that this video doesn't just teach people to just, hey, I'm just gonna fidget. I hope it teaches a bigger picture. And here's what I really wanna get across. When you decrease calories so much that you make yourself tired, well, that triggers this downstream effect of being less active and less fidgety and less non-exercise activity thermogenesis. The idea is to find yourself right in that sweet spot where you can still restrict calories, but still have enough energy to want to fidget. It's kind of funny, if I could put it in sort of a almost theoretical sense. If you took one person that was restricting calories down to 800 calories a day, and one person that was restricting calories down to maybe 1,500 calories a day, the person that's restricting calories down to 1,500 per day might actually end up in more of a deficit simply by how much they move. They are tempted to walk more. They're not gonna subconsciously be too tired to walk to the bathroom and just sit there having to pee for 2 hours. Or they might actually fidget more. They might actually do these things. And that is an important piece of what is called G-Flux. G-Flux, that entire energy flux equation suggests that it's better to move more and eat more not in a surplus, but just more in accordance to how much you're moving, than it is to eat less and move less. But if there is a nutrition component that you want to add to it, there was a study that was published in the journal Nutrition and Metabolism that looked at specifically inactive people, like just sedentary, overweight, inactive people. They found that when people were on a very low carb diet compared to a low fat, higher carbohydrate diet, despite eating more calories, like 1,850 versus 1,500, the lower carbohydrate diet ended up resulting in better weight loss, better trunk fat loss, and better lean body mass preservation. This is by no means to try to tout that everyone should do low carb. My point in saying this is that for inactive people, the extra glucose that you're taking in from carbohydrates might not be doing you as much of a service as you think. I fully agree that carbohydrates can benefit performance, so I'm not disagreeing with you there at all. I am suggesting that if you're inactive, that maybe peeling back the carbohydrates a little bit would be advantageous. You do that in conjunction with the fidgeting and the movement, and as your body starts to get more active and you get into the gym and you're walking more, then you get those carbohydrates in because you're utilizing them. But if you're arguably not very insulin sensitive, you've been inactive for a long time, well, yeah, it's probably not going to be a good idea to pile down 400 grams of carbohydrates. If you're active, that could probably work, because there's pretty strong data suggesting that resting energy expenditure is also preserved more. Like, you preserve your metabolic rate if you're an inactive person and you restrict calories via a lower carb protocol. Again, I have no stake in one way or the other. I just think if you're someone that's worried about losing fat while being inactive, then this might be a suggested route for you to go. But the most important takeaway is the fidgeting. That's the literal easiest way to burn fat, even if you don't exercise.